Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In the previous lecture, we talked about and we reported about the concept of adjustment and maladjustment. Uh, Dear students, we talk about the characteristics of well-adjusted person. We talk about some causes and symptoms of maladjusted person, and there remained a topic that was about the this defensive mechanism that we are using in different institutions or we are using somewhere. Let me say this lecture, it is meant for class 12th. This concept of defensive mechanism, as you know, my dear students, is a sort of segregation from different kind of tensions, that different kind of unpleasant behaviors. You need to get stagnant, you need to be away from these problems. So you had different notions and different strategies that you are using in different institutions, in different societies, in different families, so that you will reconcile yourself in a particular edifice and in a particular structure, or I can say in a particular, what I should say, complexity. My dear students, keeping this defensive mechanism, as I reported, that how to defend, how to save yourself from different kind of abuses, problems, tensions, and unpleasant behaviors. So you need the sort of strategy, different kind of and different sort of strategies are there that uh, are to be applied in order to defend and save oneself from different kind of problems that are prevailing in different institutions, in different edifices and structures. For example, identification is there, rationalization is there, or I can say sublimation is there, or I can say compensation is there, escapism is there, fantasy is there. These are the defense mechanism and strategy that we are using. Like the fantasy, as my dear student, this fantasy is you are sometimes you had different kind of problems, or you are in any particular complexity or in a difficulty, you are attaching or engaging yourself in a particular sports games or any kind of activity to be away from this kind of problem. Similarly, escapism, you are entertaining some kind of sport activities, so in order to just adjust and reconcile yourself in a particular environment, just try to be away from different difficulties that are prevailing. Similarly, my dear students, this what I should say, in this rationalization, there is a particular sort of juncture in any particular institution or in any particular society. So just to curtail that very particular structure, in order to curtail the kind of difficulties, the problems you are engaging, or you are just remaining away from this very system, or in a rationalization, we are curtailing the structure uh, in a, what I should say, from complex to or I should say whole to or in a simple way, or sometimes different difficulties are coming out of what I should say, out of various things, various abstruses. So just to free from these problems, just to be away from these problems, just to defend out of these problems, you need a sort of structure that make your applause, your comprehension is good, your apprehension will make you good. You had a chance to adjust yourself for betterment. So there are other these what I should say, the defensive mechanisms, like repression is there. uh, you had different kind of strategy that you are using in a particular atmosphere, in a particular structure. um, you are in a, for example, there are different kind of problems is prevailing, or you had an unpleasant behavior. For making yourself happy to be in a pleasant behavior, you need a sort of compensation as well. You need a sort of additional, what I should say, motivation. So for these activities, you are adjusting or reconciling somewhere else, somewhere that where you feel a sort of happiness, pleasant behavior. and desirable behavior. So these are actually the defensive mechanism that we are using or we are applying once we are in a complexity, while once we are in a what I should say conflict, once we are in a crash, or once we are in any exploitation, once we are in any estrangement, etc., etc. Dear students, inshallah, we will in the next lecture we'll talk about some other lectures. This was all about the adjustment and normal adjustment. There's not many kind of inquiry or any kind of question you want to ask or want to report, or you want to just um, any kind of explanation for any particular inquiry, just call me without any hesitation. Candidly, just talk to me just through phone calls, through YouTube, and through other medias, whatever kind of media and any means you uh, will feel easily accessible. Just try to call me. I will be available. Inshallah, inshallah. In the next lectures, we will now talk about other lectures. There, we have almost completed 70% syllabus. We had three chapters pending. We will discuss all the chapters, inshallah, within the passage of time. Thank you, my dear students.